I started martial arts, I hated it. Like, starting martial arts when you were absolutely bullied, like the fear and dread was horrible. I used to drive to the dojo, right? That was about, so I was 16, I started, 17, I passed my test very, very quickly. I remember like it was a 5-minute drive from my house to what was a school hall, right? And it used to take me 45 minutes to get there. Because it's a drive there, then drive back. Yes, you can. No, you can't. Yes, you can. No, you can't. Yes, you can. No, you can't. And every time I'd end up back at the dojo, tears in my eyes, wipe it out and walk through the dojo, get beat up, come back out again. And that was the thing I just never believed. And then I started to win a few titles, like not titles, just tournaments. And here's the thing I want to share with you, which is really important. Like, the lack of belief was so extreme that even when I won, there was a reason that I won was because the person had a bad day, because they ate something funny. I had an easy draw. That it was I must have slept just about right. It was never because I was good enough. That went on for about 10 years of fighting. Like I had absolutely low self-belief, but I kept on going back. And I kept on going into the dojo all the time, not believing a thing, even when I was winning. And that was how extreme it was. And it wasn't until I got selected for the England in 2012. I fought in the British Championships in Manchester, and I won my sections and I beat a load of fighters. And I was like, God, you must have had a good day then. They were shit today. All this stuff, right? I got selected to fight for England to go and fight in Canada. And I remember standing in the tunnel. I'd done all this preparation, standing in the tunnel to go onto the plane with the England team there. And this is an amateur England team, by the way. It's not, there never is professional martial arts, right? So I'm reading the paper. We've all got our England tracksuits. So I remember looking up, seeing the sea of England fighters, and I pissed myself laughing. I just found it really funny. I was like, what the fuck are you doing here? How did you get like you don't deserve to be here. You just had a look. I was like, all this. So anyway, I goes onto the plane, gets over there, and the way it works is it goes into prelims, yeah. So I gets into the event a couple of days later, and I fights an Irish guy. I beat him, German guy, Canadian guy, and big American guy, etc., etc. Anyway, I made it through to the final, which was 2 days later. So, oh my goodness, I've won a silver medal. You've had another decent day. They must have been shit, right? So anyway, so I goes into I remember the night before, I'm in the foyer of this hotel with the England team, and I'm stretching out. Now, the reason I'm stretching out is because no one really knew, but I had an 85-year-old hip. I'd worn my hip down that much that every night I'd wake up in extreme pain, like someone had a macheting my hip. The pain was unbelievable. So my hip was disintegrated, and I was trying to fight with this hip like this, and I was stretching it out. So I had to stretch it out. So anyway, I goes from like to go up to the stairs into bed, and I had a massive change. This was a pivotal change in my life. And I said to myself, if you keep like thinking negatively, you're going to get the same result. You've got the final tomorrow. How about you start visualizing how you want it to be? And I gets into this lift and the door shuts, and I start to visualize how the fight's going to go. I visualize how I'm striking, the points I'm scoring, all that, how it would be, how it would feel, how I'd feel calm and in control, and all these things that I never had. I went to bed with this visualization, and I woke up in the morning with a sense of calm. I woke up in absolute certainty and calm. Everything I did, how I showered, how I got ready. I mean, I would have ironed my socks if I had some like an iron in there, like literally everything perfect. I went down for something to eat. I stretched down on the mats, and I got onto the mats. And as I'm on the mats, this sort of uncertainty coming up, and then I had some clarity, and I get on. There's 2 rounds in the final, right? So it goes through the first round. And I looks, and my coach looked, he goes, look, you're winning. I was like, wow, at least I won that. And I was like, no. And then my body took over. And I had this out of body experience where I could, as I'm fighting, I'm hitting so I can see myself from here inwards. And it was like everything was slow motion. It was a hitting and striking. And the fight was like my visualization. I remember sort of opening my eyes and having my arm raised and said Gordon Bertram world champion. And I'm looking at the crowd and I absolutely cry my eyes out. I'm screaming, this massive crowd in front of me. I jumped on my instructor and I was in absolute elation, like the greatest feeling I've ever felt in my life and still today. And I'm absolutely in bits and just so happy and so relieved. And it's all this emotion came out. And it wasn't because I'd won this world title that I dreamed about. It wasn't that I'd beaten this 18-year-old and I'm 35 years of age. It wasn't that I'd beat everyone there, etc. It's just that I beat the person that I've been battling for years, which was myself. I could finally love and respect myself. And from that day on, when I went on the podium, when I'd done that, it was the day that turned my life around. I started to love myself and respect myself, love how I sounded, loved my quirkiness, loved that I'd lose my keys every fucking day, loved that it's like Hansel and Gretel, right? I loved that. I loved me for who I was and went on to win 3 consecutive world titles, build businesses, books, stages, all that type of stuff on that one. And it all stems down to one thing.